customers didn't want to really use a lot of floor finish. That was really a big component. Number two component was the wear layers, and it depends on the manufacturer, but the wear layers were becoming more and more robust and were able to withstand and hold up to the warranties that a lot of them had.
Welcome to Beyond Clean with Ace. In the world of commercial cleaning, whether you're new to the industry or a seasoned professional, you know we're all more than just toilets, windows, and floors. We're just like everyone else with diverse interests in everything. Now in Season 10, tens of thousands have discovered engaging and thoughtful knowledge that's truly game-changing at Beyond Clean with Ace. Whether you're a facility manager, a frontline staff member, or a building services contractor, we're here to help you grow personally and professionally. So hit that subscribe button and share with others. We're all about enhancing lives in healthy, positive, and proactive ways. So join me, Dave Thompson, Director of the Academy of Cleaning Excellence, your host at Beyond Clean with Ace.
Hello, everyone. Dave Thompson here. It's another episode of Beyond Clean with Ace. And you know what? We talk about everything here in Season 10, cleaning and otherwise. But today, I have a special guest, somebody that maybe a little bit more clout than me because of his position. But hey, we're going to get into this and talk about it because I'm sure that you didn't come here to listen to me. You hear me all the time. Let's see if technology works with me. Jim Toth Jr., if I got that right.
You're close. Jim Toth Jr. Yes, sir.
See, hey, that's why I say it. You know, I'm going to get corrected, so that's okay.
That's okay. You're close.
Okay, so as you see, folks, if you're watching the YouTube video, you can see his address going across the bottom. He's with Mannington Commercial.
Correct.
So tell us a little bit about your history and good, all that good stuff.
Sure. So I've been in the Jan sand business for 40 some plus years. Typically, you stop keeping track after about 30. I've been doing the stripping, recoating, did carpet cleaning. I've probably cleaned bathrooms that no man or woman probably should have cleaned. Certainly have done my share of building service contract work over the years. I used to own a janitorial distribution company for quite a few years, sold that. Also worked for quite a few other distribution companies. One of the things that I tried to do early on when I noticed was there is a disconnect between the flooring manufacturers and the people that are maintaining the floors. And I just wanted to see if I could be able to maybe help the industry and improve, floor care. And also was with a consulting firm for a few years as well, and realized after quite a few years actually, that the only way you can influence the industry is being part of a manufacturer, because people can listen to you and listen to your ideas, and they could maybe implement or maybe not implement, or maybe put something that you say into their maintenance instructions, but ultimately it's their decision. And if they decide they don't want it, then it's not going into their maintenance instructions. It's just bottom line. So did some consulting work for a lot of the top 10 flooring manufacturers over the years, and noticed real quick that and I did work for Mannington as well, but noticed real quick that Mannington is a family-oriented company. They truly are treating you as part of the family. It is a family-owned business. They've been a family-owned business for 115 years now.
Really?
And yep. And they've been around that long because it's a family business. It's family-owned, but it's also professionally run. And they hire people that are really good at what they do, subject matter experts, so to speak. And because that they are family owned but professionally run, they're able to, continue and sustain that business model for all these years. So Mannington said, hey, we're tired of paying you consulting fees. How about you come aboard our team and help us out and, direct us in a new direction in floor care. And I said, absolutely, I'm all in. And so I started, actually, it's coming up on 10 years in April of 2016 is when my first hire date was. And it's been a fun ride ever since. I've been influential in how to sustain and maintain all the floors that Mannington manufactures. And actually, we've been even able to, we've gotten rid of a few lines and expanded a few lines. So it's been a really, really good run at Mannington, and I'm looking forward to continuing this run for many, many years to come.
Okay, so you got a few more years left in that. That's what I'm hearing you say.
I do have quite a few years left to go. Absolutely.
Well, folks, if you're listening to our podcast, you can tell that Jim's got the hair going back. I have none at all, but we're still here going to talk about this.
Yes.
You did mention, and I've talked to Sean, and I can't remember her name. I wouldn't say Brandy, but it was somebody else with the LV department a couple of years ago.
Okay.
From up there at Mannington. I didn't know that it was 125 years old. How did they get started?
It's not quite 125. It's 110, and it started off as a small family business. The Campbell family started it off. It's a very long story. Certainly, you can head to our website and look that up. But it started off as humble beginnings, and it just continued to grow and grow. And they had a couple of setbacks early on with some fires in the early stages, and they had to rebuild. But brought the family together, and they continued to grow and prosper. And it is I believe it's the 5th or 6th generation now with Mannington as the owners of the company.
I talked to Sean, and you had mentioned that some of the lines went away. I think that was VCT that went away.
Correct. VCT was sold off, actually, I believe, in the either 2016 or 2017 year. We sold it off to Armstrong, and they purchased that. And unfortunately, the VCT business declined. We'll put it politely, has declined incrementally over these past 10 years ish. And the reason it's been declining is like you were mentioning, the LVP, LVT, typically we just say LVT is luxury vinyl tile, which encompasses all the products that are out there. But the LVT products were becoming very, very evident of taking over the industry as the predominant hard surface flooring. And the number one reason why is the customers didn't want to really use a lot of floor finish. That was really a big component. Number two component was the wear layers. And it depends on the manufacturer, but the wear layers were becoming more and more robust, and were able to withstand and hold up to the warranties that a lot of them had. But in the beginning, some of the challenges were the embossing or texture. They were pretty deep, pretty wide. The configuration of that embossing was like a sharp V to it. So if any dirt, debris, or chemical residue or whatever got in there, it was very tenacious. You just couldn't get it out. There's an example where it was tough. And so folks,
if you're watching on the video here, this is a picture of LV plank, actually. Mm-hmm. And these, I always tell people that little bit of a white spot up there, that's the ridge. The low spot is the dark gray. Is that correct?
Usually it depends on what's the soil that's in there. Sometimes it's vice versa. For instance, we have new constructions where there's a lot of drywall dust or particulate, white material. And the white areas are typically the areas where the fine particulate is in those areas. And, let's say someone uses a cotton mop and a neutral cleaner, or, Fabuloso, or some sort of a chemistry. And they get the drywall dust wet, and then it not that it becomes concrete, but it becomes very, very hard to get out of that embossing or that ticking. So yes, the white sometimes is the bad areas of the embossing or texture. Sometimes the white areas is particulate or white particulate, and it has to be scrubbed out.
So this is what we're talking about when you're talking about the ticking is the if you will, the peaks and the valleys in a plank.
Right. So imagine holding your hand up like that, right? This is the valleys, this is the tops. And trying to reach in there and get that with a cotton mop or any traditional cleaning systems is a challenge. And sometimes there needs to be alternative options or things that need to be done to achieve expectations.
So I wasn't going to go there quite so quick, but hey, you went there, so let's start talking about.
Okay.
I mean, because this is, LV. I say LV to cover all of it.
Agreed. Understood.
Now, before we get into that, is there a difference? And I have this question here in class a lot. Is there a difference between vinyl and luxury vinyl?
No, it's pretty much all under the same category. If you're talking about the products that are produced, that are made with the planks or squares or, those types of products are usually, they're categorized under luxury vinyl or vinyl products. There are products that are manufactured that are like sheet goods, for instance, where, big rolls, they're either 6 foot or 9 foot or wider, even some of the manufacturers. And those are usually called either heterogeneous or homogeneous products, where the big sheets rolled out. Typically, those are utilized in the healthcare arenas where you need a monolithic flooring, goes up the cove to make sure that there's nothing that will permeate beyond the walls.
But that's still vinyl, though, right?
That is still vinyl, correct.
Okay, so whenever we get a basketball court at a parochial school and they're replacing it, it's not plank, it's not tile, it's the 6 foot by 30 foot rolls goods.
Right. Usually those are the terminology usually in the industry is called sheet goods.
Sheet goods.
Yep. That's the typical. Then that way it covers a little bit everything, because also within that sheet goods, some of the basketball courts, they are sheet good. Like, for instance, some of them are rubber. Some of them are, we've even seen in some situations, natural linoleum products,
Correct.
that are right. So there are a variety of different products that are used in a variety of different situations and applications.
So before we get into maintenance, I just want to make sure that we're talking about the surfaces, the material, right? Because a lot of people misunderstand what they're actually dealing with, and that's the reason I want to talk about that first. Now, I use the term synthetic floors, and I kind of put the luxury vinyl, the rubber, these all together in synthetic floors, where if I'm going to do one, I do the same thing on all. Now, that's not always true, or is it?
It is not always true.
Okay.
The better way to categorize these types of products, and again, we're talking generalities, right? We're we're trying to be able to encompass all manufacturers holistically. This is our approach. So if you think about it this way, there are products that are manufactured with a factory applied wear layer.
And that's not VCT, because we have to pour it out of a gallon jug and put the wear layer on. That's why it's going away.
In some cases, yes, they have started to, and they've been making VCT with a factory applied wear layer that you don't have to.
Oh, really? Now, I didn't know we were doing that now.
They are some manufacturers that put a wear layer on VCT and say you don't have to try to mimic the LVT lines.
I wondered about that, because it's still something that you can apply to that wear layer. Can you apply it to anything? I mean, reasonably.
Pretty much, yes. You can apply a factory coating to almost anything, but you have to make sure that, is it sustainable? Are we able to apply it, and will it stay? And is it worth the dollars and cents that we're spending for that wear layer to sell it to the market segment that we're looking to sell to and still be profitable? So there are products that are made that are specifically designed with a factory applied wear layer. Now, we have to also understand that factory applied wear layer is not the same. Think of it this way. You have,
and it's not the same, folks. I'm trying to tell you, it's not what we pour out of a gallon jug, which is not.
It is factory applied, right? It is factory, but we can't we can't generalize all factory wear layers as the same.
Oh, no, yes, because there's different additives that go into that wear layer, and that's UV set onto the wear layer, correct?
There are different additives, there are different processes, there are different curing, there are different types of urethanes. Some have only the capabilities of lasting about a year, and then the warranty is no longer effective, or the
That's
wear
not
layer.
a Mannington product, no.
That is not a Mannington product, is correct. A lot of Mannington products have somewhere in the neighborhood, and it depends on the product you pick, right around the 10-year mark. Well, and the reason being, it's kind of like, saying, hey, I need a vehicle. Well, what's your vehicle going to be used for, right?
Right.
If you just need to go from A to B, then maybe a simple car, 4 wheels, or a Fiat or Volkswagen or something small, simple.
Now don't get carried away. I drive a Cooper. It's one of those little bitty cars.
I love Coopers, by the way. That's one of my favorite rides. Right, Mini Cooper. But is that going to be able to haul, for instance, 20,000 pound payload? No, you're going to need a F-350 with a dual wheel, right? So each vehicle serves a specific purpose, and each vehicle has a specific ratings and capabilities. Same thing with wear layers. So
as I understand wear layers, it's 1/1000th of an inch is a mil, and a residential is between 8 and 10. Is that right?
On average. Yes.
On average.
On average.
And then there's commercial, which is 20.
Or it could be more.
And extra heavy duty is 40.
Correct. But you also have to understand, I got a little bit of a show and tell here, since you have some show and tell, right? This is an example of the products. This is the wear layer part of it, right? But they also have a layer that's underneath that wear layer that is a protective layer. So this is what you're walking on. This is the protective layer. Also, this is the print film. So we're talking about.
Where's the vinyl at in all of this?
This is all compressed into one. This is a print film, but then this is also the backing, right? To create that color. Let me turn it this way. There we go.
Right.
To create that color so that it gives it. So this backing layer against the print layer enables you to get a specific color. But when you were talking about maintenance, right? We don't want to degrade the wear layer or the protective layer, because if we start, then we're going to work our way into the print film, and then once you're into the print film, then the product is no longer it's shot, right?
Yeah, if you're going into that 3D layer there, hey folks, you're replacing something.
Exactly, and we've had instances. Some of our products look like, for instance, like a terrazzo, right? Where our products look, and the printing capabilities is amazing. But some of our product look like terrazzo. We had one customer that hired a diamond polishing company to try to bring a little bit of gloss to our LVT.
Oh my!
You can't make this stuff up, okay, Dave? They hired a company. They called me and said, "Hey, we have a claim." I go there. There was about 12 of the people from the facility. The diamond polishing guy was there. We were talking, and he's pointing the finger at our product being defective, and I turned to him politely off to the side. I pulled him off the side and said, "Hey, is your liability insurance paid up? Because," I says, "you just bought this whole floor that you tried to diamond polish. All it is plastic." So you're right.
Yeah, I hear you, because I have this happen with people with a wood gym floor. I go, if you treat that like a wood floor and go to sanding it, you bought a whole new floor.
You bought the whole gym.
So, so now this is what I want to kind of make sure that people understand, that what we're walking on is not the vinyl, it is wear layers, and the whole thing here is protecting that wear layer at all costs.
Not only protecting it, but if we have the correct maintenance processes in place, then you not only protect it, but you maintain it so that you don't do any irreversible damage to that surface. It will maintain that warranty as well as maintain the look that you're looking to achieve. You know, a lot of these people purchase this floor because they like the aesthetics, they like the three-dimensional look. They also like the fact that it's not high gloss, it's not high maintenance. You don't have to burnish it, you don't have to buff it. There's not a lot of extra expense that is associated with that type of maintenance process.
Well, at least they're not supposed to, and that's some of the conversation I want to have today.
Yeah, sure.
Now, I tell people that the best ROI on a luxury vinyl or any other floor is 30 feet of walk-off mats.
Depends on the location, right? If you're talking 30 feet in Wisconsin or in Florida where you get sand or snow, ice melter and stuff, maybe that might not be enough. Maybe in the Midwest, it might be sufficient, right? We have to remember it's site specific. Does that make sense? So we're 30 feet may be great for a small area, walk-in, low traffic, but it may not be enough for areas that have high traffic, high volume. You know, you have a main entrance to, for instance, a school that's close to a beach. You know, you may need 40 or 50 feet with a school system that has, 10,000 kids that come in at the first bell.
You just upset a whole lot of people because I have trouble trying to get them to do 30 feet. But I tell the people the biggest problem for the wear layer is sand, because sand is like
number
granite
one
and
nemesis.
there's nothing harder.
Yep, number one nemesis is sand, and it's the nemesis for all floors. It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter, right? We're talking about an aggregate that is sharp. It's very jagged, and it's a nemesis for all floors. Doesn't matter who's or what's down there. Even polished concrete, even your natural stones. It's a challenge for any type of flooring that's installed in an area where there is sand.
Well, now I show slides all the time. I have heard and seen over my career up to 57 cutting edges on a single grain.
That's what I've seen.
And you're talking sand about the coarseness, the solidification of it, about like granite. So it's not going to do anything but tear every floor up.
Everything.
So now I want to ask a question, because this is where we're going to get into the maintenance of the floor right here, folks. So stay with us, because this is where it's going to get real fun, because this is the maintenance that we always have challenges of.
Sure.
So I want to go to something before I do that here, because I want to show you a picture. Let me see if I've got this right here, Jim. There it is.
Yes.
Before we get into the maintenance, I tell people, whatever you do, you have to protect that wear layer just as much as we're talking about the sand. We're also talking about the chairs, the tables, all the things that scratch.
Correct.
I believe in these. Talk to me.
Yep. So any type of felt is our friend. We have to remember, and again, this is not necessarily for the perfectly smooth, perfectly flat floors, but for the LV products, like you said, the LVTs, LVPs that have an embossing or a texture to it. What happens with those plastic chair glides is plastic is deposited or scraped off of that chair leg, and it gets deposited within that groove. There you go. You're zooming in perfectly. It gets deposited in those grooves and those nooks and crannies. And what happens with those plastic deposits is it's a challenge to get off, because they're actually ground into that embossing or texture. Felt has been part of our maintenance instructions for the past almost 10 years that I've been a part of Mannington, and because of the fact that it does not do any degradation to the LVT products, it holds up really, really well. Most felt. We have seen some lesser robust.
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of grades and stuff. Whenever we're talking, there's all kinds of grades, so you got to take that into consideration, right?
Because we've seen it where there is barely a little bit of felt on top of a plastic, and if it's less than robust, then it won't
Well,
hold up
and
as
as
well.
you can see here, folks, the felt on this is as thick as the rubber that holds it onto the foot.
Yep,
So
which is
that's what you're
awesome.
talking about.
Yep, this is exactly what I'm talking. A very robust felt product enables that chair leg to be protected, as well as the floor to have the ability to not show any of that plastic degradation that normally would happen.
So neither one of these things that we've talked about is part of the warranty situation for that 10-year warranty, is it? Or is it a prescribed in the maintenance? I want to kind of get...
Yep. So each manufacturer has their own set of maintenance instructions, obviously. I could speak to Mannington, where we do specify and say, hey, felt glides are recommended to be used on our floors. We have some situations and installations where the customer has metal glides,
Right.
and on our floor with a metal glide, we've actually seen the degradation of the metal glide and scratched, and nothing happens to our flooring. And it's actually been down for many, many years. The flooring's been down for many years. The metal glides have been on it, and it's been holding up and performing to the customer's expectations. In regards to the plastic glides, if a customer does complain or does have a challenge and wants to bring it to our attention, and they say, hey, we're seeing these scratches, and we go to the site and visit it, and then they say, well, it's not actually scratches, it's actually plastic material deposited. We clean it up, we show it can be removed, and we make the recommendation and suggestion that they switch to felt, and the problem or challenge does go away and resolve itself.
So you're not going to void a warranty either way, one way or the other, if you do or don't have, because that's not part of a warranty. It's just a prescribed recommended.
Right. If a customer decides to push the proverbial envelope a little bit more, and they decide to do something that, or decide to go down a path that we say, hey, you shouldn't go down that path, we will say, hey, that's not part of our prescribed process. And, we will push back and say that, but we don't, you're right. There's that fine line. We try not to be that type of a company.
Sure. I understand. And we're trying to give people today at this podcast some guidance from the factory here. Yep. I like what you said earlier, hey, Dave says a lot of things, but hey, I got the factory here that says something. So thank you, Jim, for backing me up a little bit here.
There you go.
I mean, we've both been in it for a long time, and I try to say the right thing, but it's always, doesn't matter how long you've been in it or who you are, it's always best to always check and make sure, because things change.
Well, the other thing too is, Dave, it's important to understand that this is an industry that is constantly evolving, and I constantly am learning. I was on a Teams call earlier this morning with a hospital system in New York. And I'm learning, he would tried something, he did something a little bit different. I said, wow, I didn't think about it that way. And I'm learning. So, and the great thing is our platform, whether it's yours or mine, I cover North America. That's my territory. So I'm able to share what I've learned with everybody that I come in contact with. And so it's high tide raises all boats, right? That's
what this is all about, Jim. That's why we're doing this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I just kind of wanted to show you, because this is one of the things I get all the time, is that people come in with a red pad, folks, and they say, can I use a red pad on LV? Now, I have my version of that, but I want to hear yours first.
So in Mannington's maintenance instructions, we do say you can use traditional red or white pads. It's one of those things where, sure, you can use it, right? But sometimes, and based on the soil loads and challenges, it may not achieve expectations. So if you intentionally use it, holy smokes, that looks awful. So
that's not red anymore.
That's not red anymore. That's for
you
sure.
said soil load, so I was waiting for you.
Yep, there you go.
This is what I'm fighting. This is the problem I have with pad.
Right, but so that's the problem, is that soil is embedded. It's trapped inside of the weave. And when it's trapped inside of that weave, right? All we're doing is we're spreading dirt, spreading that soil all throughout a facility, and it's counterintuitive, counterproductive, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, you see this big bunch of stuff here and this
Yep.
stuff here. I mean, it's hard, and I mean, it's crusted.
Yep.
This is the problem with pads. They don't take them off and clean them.
No, or turn it over for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, the other side's perfect.
Turn it over.
So this is my problem with pads.
Yes.
They load up, and as we said, sand is the enemy, so it doesn't matter what floor, the sand that's loaded up in the pad is going to tear on the wear layer.
Correct. And again, doesn't matter whose floor, doesn't matter what floor, it waxed floor. I mean, you have to remember, if you have VCT, okay, and you have 4 coats of sealer, 4 or 5 coats of floor finish, and you're using that pad that's loaded up that way, you're degrading the floor finish that you've put on to the point where you're removing floor finish from the surface and you're making more work for yourself. So why go down that path? Why not use something that doesn't have aggregate or doesn't have to be aggressive to clean or maintain a floor?
So this goes back into what I call the life cycle of a VCT floor is not today. It's over the 20, 30 years,
right,
at the cost of doing it, because every day when we run that red pad that's loaded up with grit, it's tearing the shine off. Then you come back and you burnish it. You spend more time trying to keep that shine up.
Yep.
And now when we're talking LV, it's supposed to be low shine, but then people go and do screwy things.
So we've done cost analysis for LVT floors compared to VCT. And typically the cost analysis, it varies, but right around the 18 months to 2 years-ish is the return on investment for your LVT floor compared to the VCT. We'll give it a benefit. Let's call it 24 months. At 24 months, now you are ahead of the cost of maintaining your floor. Now, if you do things, so now you no longer have the expenses of the floor finish, the stripping and recoating, and the extra labor hours and the workers' compensation for slip, trip, and falls and neck and back right, all that associated cost for maintaining a floor finish is now no longer part of the equation, but that number is a real number. That
right, it is.
Whatever that number is. So why not take that number, amortize it over 3 years, and say, okay, I pay for my floor in 2. What if on the 3rd year, if I take that number and I'm able to get a few pieces of equipment, accessories, pads, and do the system that is designed to maintain that LVT floor. So then now after on year 4 to 10, I'm money ahead.
I tell people say, well, I thought this is no maintenance. And I go, well, it is as long as you keep the door shut.
Unfortunately, in the beginning, the letter L was dropped off and there was some misunderstanding. And unfortunately, the low was changed to no.
Correct.
And it's unfortunate in the beginning, and it is what it is. I can't go back and change it, but I believe that the evolution of the floor care, I believe that the industry is understanding now a little bit more than what it did when it first came out, that we have it's considered lower maintenance compared to other types of flooring systems.
Now, what's interesting about what we've already talked about, folks, we thank you very much for watching our podcast or listening to us. We're not going to shut it off. I know we've been going for 30 minutes, but hey, we got a lot to unpack here. The thing here is what we're talking about is this isn't only protecting LV. This is protecting all floors. Floors. Exactly what we're saying here, matting, protectors, clean your pad. This is all protecting all types of floors.
Absolutely. And then when I looked at it, our maintenance instructions that we had in the past and compared it and looked at it to today, or when I start making some changes to instructions 10 years ago, I looked at it through the perspective of someone that maintained floors.
Right.
How can I make my maintenance instructions universal so that it doesn't matter whose floor my floor's up against? And I'm not so naive to think that my floor is the only floor within a facility, right? My floor could be butting up against VCT. It could be butting up against rubber. It could be butting up against stone. It could be
Correct.
butting up against concrete. It doesn't matter. It could be butting up against carpet for that matter.
And typically is.
And usually it is. So is my maintenance instructions universal enough so that when my floor is installed, the machine or whatever process, is being used can keep on going throughout the whole facility. That was my goal in putting together our maintenance instructions.
So in your instructions, it says a white and a red pad, and you're telling us it's there, but folks, you got to keep it clean.
Yep. But we
Okay,
also we have a couple other pads that we've listed too.
Okay. Let's go ahead.
So one of the pads that we've put in, and we put in our maintenance instructions 10 years ago, was we're pretty much the leader in this category, is we put in our maintenance instructions microfiber pad for auto scrubbers. And look at you're like Vanna White. Boy, look at you are. And a connector pad too.
Hey, I was ready for you, Jim. Come on, man.
So 10 years ago, we put in microfiber pads in our maintenance instructions. And the primary reason we put microfiber pads in our maintenance instruction was because we saw that microfiber was going to be a universal product to maintain virtually any floor. It doesn't matter what type of floor, doesn't matter whose floor. Microfiber is the universal pad for all floors installed in a facility. And that was one of the key components that set Mannington apart from all other flooring manufacturers, because some flooring manufacturers recommended brushes, for instance. Some did not. Some recommended blue pads, for instance. Some did not. Some had a aggregate filled brushes, and some manufacturers did not. So there was a variety of manufacturers that had a variety of different maintenance instructions. They weren't not universal. So what did you have to do? Did you have to stop? Oh, there's a brand X or this one, and now you have to stop. Well, no, you can't. That's not realistic.
This thing is like a dishcloth.
Yep, sure.
I mean, folks, if you can see me, I'm just kind of flopping this around.
Sure.
This thing is so thin. Talk to me about why did you guys recommend this one?
So we had situations and scenarios where the soil load was, when we talked about this earlier, tenacious. It's tough to get out. And that little blue stripe there, that little blue strip is it's a plastic. It's
you can feel
similar,
it.
Right? It's similar in the density of a traditional white pad or red pad. But it's very short, it's stubby, it's small.
Correct.
And what happens is, so those challenged areas where there is a let's say something that has to come out of that embossing, something that has to come out of that texture, that little scrub strip enables you to achieve expectations, suspends that soil into the solution that you're scrubbing with, and then the microfiber reaches in and does a really good cleaning of that area, and then suspends all the soil in the solution, and then you're vacuuming up or you're microfiber mopping it up and cleaning up afterwards.
Okay, so talk to me. I use this for 500 square feet, throw it away and start over?
Typically, those are a little bit longer as far as lasting, probably closer to 50,000 square feet.
50,000 square feet. What am I going to do in between? I mean, from start to finish, do I rinse it out? We talked about changing. What are we doing here?
So there's different applications for different scenarios. Typically the disposable ones, I mean, that's not typically your traditional, pad. So that particular one, let's say if you have a specific scenario within a healthcare facility, for instance, where, you know, we're deep scrubbing a big area, or construction cleanup, or some maybe even a area where there's new installation of flooring going down, and we need to do a pre-cleaning before we do installing of the floor, where we need to scrub the floor really good. You can do that certainly with those types of pads, get the floors really good and clean. When you're done with it, you know, they're filthy, they're dirty, you do a bunch of floor, and then you just throw it away.
Okay, so this blue and what I noticed in the box, there was some white ones. I'm supposing that's the complete disposable.
Both of them are disposable. I mean, all pads are disposable for that matter.
Well, yeah, well, I meant one-time use. I'm sorry.
Well, and even we have to think about it, right? If you put that white pad on an auto scrubber, you know, you're in a large facility that has, you know, 10 floors, you know, that are 10,000 square feet per floor, and you do, you know, 1 or 2 shifts of cleaning, you know, you're at 30,000 square feet, you know, if you clean. And so it adds up quickly. And then when you're done, you just dispose of it. Whereas,
well, you know, I'm thinking we deal with a lot of schools here in Florida,
sure,
and there's a lot of LV going on in schools.
Yes.
And so if they were using rotary machines, because that's what they have,
yep,
they could use these. But now this is what you call a connector pad.
Yep, that's what those
really
pads.
Hard to see, but this is real thin.
Sure.
It's a little bit thicker than that just floppy microfiber, but this goes on the driver, then the pad goes on this.
Correct.
How many times do I replace this too?
Those last a long time.
Okay.
We've seen it where it's been on for many shifts. It holds up. It's just designed to hold the microfiber pad, and that's all it's designed to do.
So I could possibly do 50,000 square feet in a night at a school for sure.
Absolutely. And the beautiful thing, it's microfiber, right? So it's not going to trap and hold that fine particulate sand and grit within a weave. It releases it because it's just a fiber, right? It's just going to clean, suspend the soil into the solution. Your vacuum system picks it up from the auto scrubber, and done. It doesn't get trapped in there. Okay,
I'm going to do my Vanna thing again, as you said. I didn't know that's what I was doing,
yep,
but
sure.
I got this one.
Sure.
Manufacturers sent this to me. They said this is unique. It's a long strand microfiber. Yep. Folks, this pad's really thick.
Sure. Yep. So again, another microfiber pad. We in our maintenance instructions, we just say microfiber pad. And the reason and that particular one has a little scrub strip on it as well.
Right.
To get to those tenacious areas where maybe there's some soil that's embedded, or maybe there's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that landed upside down, right? And the jelly and the peanut butter, and I
wish that were the only thing at a school.
Where it landed upside down, and it's, you know, everybody walked all over it, and it's packed in, it's embedded. That little scrub strip on that microfiber really reaches in, grabs that soil or the peanut butter or the jelly or the sugars and everything, you know, and suspends it into that solution and helps get that floor good and clean. But again, it's microfiber, right? It's a universal pad. You can use it on rubber, you can use it on LVT, LVP, you can use it on natural linoleum, you can use it on your VCT floors, you can use it on your waxed floors, you can use it on any floor. It's universal. And it doesn't matter what flooring manufacturer you have. Sorry to interrupt you, but it doesn't matter what flooring manufacturer you have. You can have all, you know, the top 10 flooring manufacturers in the world. You can have them all butting up alongside each other within your facility, and you can use microfiber to maintain them all.
So what we're saying is it's not particularly to one microfiber. It's just, you're saying all of these different ones that are microfiber with the what I call AstroTurf pad.
Or a scrub strip, yes.
Strips, we can use it on, and it's not going to hurt anything. We're not going to void any warranties or anything. Okay, so now I use this pad
nice
for about 500 square feet in a test.
Sure.
And folks, you can see it started to look like this. But as I feel it, it's still soft. I can't feel any grit.
Right.
But I washed it out. It was still dirty looking, but most of it laundered out, or I would say rinsed out.
Sure.
But have you had any experience with this pad yet?
Yeah, absolutely. That was I would say about 15 plus years ago. I had experience with that particular pad. The really good group of people there. They make a really high quality, good product as well. Again, it's microfiber, so it's going to hold up. It's going to withstand the use. The other key component is you're spot on. It's dirty, right?
Right.
But it doesn't entrap or hold on to that particulate. It releases it. And I think that's the key component compared to when you're looking at traditional pads with the weave.
And that's where I was. Thank you very much. This is what I was going to. The beauty of microfiber is it's made to do two things: grab and hold. But a pad is not designed that way.
That's correct. So when you're doing your rags or flat mops or things of that nature, you moisten that flat mop or the rag. You go over a surface, and you're right. It traps and holds in that particulate, dirt, debris, whatever, bacteria, microorganisms. It's designed to grab.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? But when you utilize it in a pad form for auto scrubbers or side-by-sides, the dynamics change because you're constantly flushing water over that pad, over the fibers, and it's not like it's rinsing, but it's just flushing on a regular basis. You still see the pad's dirty, but it's flushing.
Yeah, I mean, anything, I don't care what it is, going to get soiled.
Correct.
But it's not going to get loaded. And there's a difference between the outside getting soiled and a complete load.
Yes, correct. Yes.
Okay. So I got one more prop down here.
Bring it on.
This is my favorite jewel. I have always recommended. And, there's some people that go, no, no, no. And I'm like, okay, these are self-cleaning and don't load. Talk to me about your thoughts.
Sorry, Dave.
Go ahead.
What if you said to be candid, I'm going to be candid.
Sure.
I'm not a fan, and here's the primary reason why. There is a couple components. Number one is, depending on the LVT, or even sheet goods, or even depending on any type of flooring that has an embossing or texture to it. Sometimes the denier on your bristle brush is bigger than the embossing or texture. And we've seen situations where even when utilizing a brush, it doesn't reach into that embossing or that texture all the way down because, number one, the bristles are bigger. Number two is we've also seen situations where the bristles around are preventing the bristles from going in and reaching in. So we've seen those types of challenges. Number two is it's another piece of equipment that's maybe not approved to be utilized on all floors. So maybe someone might say, hey, there might be one manufacturer that says, yes, you can use brushes on our floor. There might be another manufacturer that doesn't even list machines that have brushes, or they don't even recommend brushes. And that, when you have situations and challenges like, where there's manufacturer that doesn't recommend brushes, then what do you do? Well, you move to pads. Well, sometimes pads aren't going to achieve expectations. But if you use microfiber, again, it's universal. So it's not like we're opposed. If someone's able to achieve expectations and that's the equipment that you have and it's working well for you, we'll avoid the for instance, Mannington warranty. No, if it's working and that's what the equipment that you have, because that's the equipment that you have, we get it. And if it's working, keep on going. Is it the most popular means of maintaining floors? It is not.
Well, and I think this is the thing is whenever you're talking about all of this, everybody has equipment already.
Correct.
Some people are moving to different equipment. I've used brushes for probably 20 years, but I agree with you in the fact that size, and you're talking denier, so people that you don't know, it's the diameter of a fiber. Microfiber's got a denier to it as well.
Right.
And so, in order to be microfiber, folks, it's got to be less than 1 denier. So what you're saying here is if it's too large of a denier, and you're right, all brushes are not created equal. That is for sure.
That's the problem, is they all aren't. And there's a variety available out there for sure.
And that's the problem whenever you as a manufacturer are putting that in. You don't know the size of deniers. It's got to be so wide and so generic.
Correct.
For me here, when I'm teaching a class, I'm making sure I'm talking about the right size of it. And it's just over the years, I've been able to go through all kinds of different floors. And I get away from any of that scouring of the grit in pads, because, hey, all pads aren't created equal, as we said.
That's true. And one of the things that we've seen a lot of recently is there's a lot of pads that are out there that utilize a resin that is coating the pad. And in some of those resins, they put some sort of an aggregate, whether it's diamond chips. Some of them use an aggregate of some sort, whether it's aluminum oxide or maybe it's marble chips or glass chips or not terrazzo, but any type of a stone type of a chip, where they put it into that resin and they call it some sort of a pad that is supposed to clean the floor and also supposed to shine the floor, right? It's supposed to do both. And I don't want to mention any names, of course.
Correct.
But
Yes.
But the problem is, no flooring manufacturer that I know of, at least as of today, there could be someone tomorrow. There may be someone that yesterday that maybe changed their maintenance instructions. But to the best of my knowledge, there's no flooring manufacturer that recommends any of those types of pads. And the number one reason why is the aggregate that they put into that resin that's infused on that pad is going to degrade the factory applied coating. Some quicker than others, but nevertheless, it will degrade. It also degrades floor finish. So wait a minute. I put on 4 coats of sealer, 5 coats of what? I'm sorry. Did I say something funny?
No. I just know where you're going. I mean,
I put on 4 coats of sealer, 5 coats of floor finish, and you want me to use a pad that is going to remove everything that I've put on during summer break.
Okay, folks, we've been into this 50 minutes. We're going to cut this off here in an hour. But Jim, before you go, I want to show everybody another floor here. This is a luxury vinyl floor. And as you can see right here, they picked up the mat. That's what it's supposed to look like.
Yep.
The black, they put floor finish on it. Then they mopped it with Clorox. After several years, they said, what's the problem? I said, well, you put floor finish for VCT on vinyl. Sure. Yep. And then you mopped it with bleach, and there isn't anything. There's nothing here you did right.
Yeah. Yep. Maybe in the next episode we can do a show and tell of pictures. You can't make this stuff up, Dave.
No.
I have thousands and thousands of pictures of similar scenarios, and maybe we can do a show and tell next episode where we can compare pictures and we can go back and forth where we show the different scenarios. And it's like the goal for these conversations with what you and I are sharing is so that people don't go down the same path. Ultimately,
correct, because
that's the goal. I
got another one here for you. This is the same floor. I went in with a 9 pH product and my cylindrical brush, and I took all of the floor finish off of the floor. As you can see over here, that's the floor finish. I took it all off here. But I did that with a cylindrical brush instead of that abrasive black pad you mentioned.
100%. And so what you did was you let the chemistry do the work. The agitation process may not have gotten into all those, but maybe it did. You suspended all of the slurry of floor finish and all that stuff, got it suspended in the solution, mopped it up, cleaned it off, and you're back to baseline. And likely you're back to the place where the customer and can now maintain it correctly for the life of the floor without having that floor finish.
So stay tuned, folks. There's another episode coming. I can feel it now.
I can feel it too. Dave, hey, really want to say thank you. Really appreciate this opportunity to have this open and candid conversation. It's been a fun time, and look forward to our next one.
So, folks, if you've been watching, you've seen the scroll there across there. If you want to get hold of Jim at Mannington Commercial, he would love to talk to you. Hey, I got him on the horn, and here he is. We'll have him back again some other time.
Sure.
Folks, would tell you here all the time, the luxury vinyl is a whole different game. It's not VCT. It's not stone. It's not wood. Need to learn how to take care of this, hopefully, before you screw it up like somebody we just saw. Thanks, Jim, for being on. Come back, Dave, for another episode. Hey, folks, between now and then, keep it safe out there. Want to see you next time. Bye, folks. Thanks, Jim.
Bye-bye.